Prime Factory. High. Lasts optional scary level. I can't wait! Are you sure you're supposed to be here? This is a very difficult assignment. I have no idea how to do it either. Oh great. Oh, there's a bunch of little scientists over here being like, oh, my butt faces can't process this. I guess they're almost like peaches or butts. What's the difference between a peach and a butt? Nobody knows. What are prime factors? I have that written down here somewhere. They are the unique list of prime numbers that multiply together to result in a given number. What is the prime factors of 6, 2, and 3? What is the prime factors of 8? 2 and 2 and 2. What are the prime factors of 5? 5. If you still need help, feel free to ask a friend, or your local library, or get back in the elevator and leave this assignment for someone else. What the fuck? How do you do this one? I'm sorry, I have to prime factorize? I have to find the prime factors of the number. Okay, this is getting crazy a little bit. For each thing in the inbox, send its prime factors to the outbox in order from smallest to largest. Ooh boy. It's prime factors. Jesus. This might be hard. This might be hard if I even had multiply and divide as options, but I'll remind you, we're like at the end of this game and you cannot multiply or divide in this game. Ah! And I have to check which things these numbers are divisible by. Okay. Nope, we're gonna be staring at this one for a bit.
The word of the day is abject fear.
Alright, so I went browsing through my old levels and I came up with a good idea, which is to copy these over for reference. These... Oh, they even have their own different pages of things on them. Right, the labels even still show up. So these are the formulas I wrote when we were doing division. And reviewing that is going to be important a bit because we need to divide a lot. I think we're going to be using all of the ideas I've done recently to an extent. 1, I have to set up division. 2, I need to create a string over time. And I also need to be able to do the stuff where I'm iterating one step at a time on a variety of different levels, really. Both on my division track and some other things, really. Yeah. It's gonna be crazy. I thought of 2 options here. And one of them is cheating, which is why I'm not gonna do it. Which is... we could just write out the answers. You could just be like, I know what all of the roots... I know what the prime factors are of numbers up to a certain point or something. Let's just, you know, like I could press play stop a few times and find out what the highest number they've shown, which so far has been 20, because that other screen was like 2 19s and a 20 or 2 20s and a 19 or something. Oh, you can turn the music off. Huh. The highest number I've seen so far is 20. So like I could write out manually what the factors are for the numbers 1 through 20, and then just make it say the output of each number. Like, oh, a 9? Yeah, that's a 3 and a 3. And it would just put it out without even calculating anything. But that is both boring and not in the spirit of the question, I think. I think to some extent the spirit of the question is to calculate it, but also programming that is incredibly... it'd be very time-consuming and very boring, because I would basically almost immediately would have the answer to how to do everything right in front of me, and I would just be writing it out very, very slowly. Ugh. And that's not fun, so I'd rather not do that. So I'm gonna do the one where we try to divide everything, and that's gonna be scary because I need to figure out how to divide by a bunch of different numbers too, and that's crazy. I'm trying to think of how to do that. In particular, I'm wondering, is it faster to do this? I'm trying to think about whether or not it's faster to do this by just having a number that I'm saying, oh, this is what we're dividing by, and just have that go up by 1 over and over again, and then divide the thing by that number. The problem is it's really redundant. Yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna double check what prime number sequence just for the sake of not fucking it up. Because I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to write down what the prime numbers are themselves. Because if I have the prime numbers, then at least I can divide by those instead of dividing by a bunch of dumb random things, basically. So that, I think that's probably better to pre-set up the prime numbers themselves and then stop there, because otherwise I'd be dividing by numbers like, well, 1 doesn't count, first of all, but then I'd be dividing by like 4 and 6 and 8 and 9 and 10 and 12 and 14 and 15 and 16 and 18 and 20, and none of those are prime factors, so those steps would all be wasted. Because my plan right now is I think I'm going to divide, I'm going to go to the next number each time, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide the current number by that, and by which means I'm going to just I'm going to do it the way we had to do it before, which is you literally just subtract that number over and over again. My plan is that we have a system for remainders. I'm probably going to do the one where we were like kind of calculating what the remainder would be and stuff like that. And the answer will only be acceptable if the remainder is 0. If the remainder is anything besides 0, then we throw away that and we go back to the number we had before, and we just go to the next prime number and try that one perhaps, and we just keep doing that until we've successfully factored it down, basically. That's my plan, I think. Yeah. So that's gonna be... That's so many steps. That's a very intensive calculation, but it might not be the worst thing to set up. I copied these over, but I don't know if I'll have to use them or not. I also don't remember which one was which. I think this is the one where we were calculating the remainder. And I think this one was the one where, I think this, I don't remember what anymore. But they're actually not that complicated of things, so I can probably just wing it and largely get it right anyway. But I think I want to prime it. So let's do primes. I think step 1 is I need to have all of the numbers on the board. So I'm going to call you 2, 3, 5, 7. That one bothered me. 11, 13, 17, 19. Am I forgetting a prime? 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19. We should be good. Okay. So I think my goal is first to just make that board exist, and then we'll start the program after that. That'll be my setup. So copy from 0, because it's the only number that exists. We're gonna call you 0, I guess. I don't like it being called anything else, really. Copy to... Yeah, let's copy to 2. So that'll be a 0 right now. We're gonna bump 2. Now what we're gonna do is, now this is a 1. I'm going to copy to 3, copy to 5, copy to 7, copy to 11, copy to 13, copy to 17, copy to 19. The reason I did that is that these are all odd numbers, so they have to have 1 in their total. The long way of doing this is to go. The long way of doing this is to just add 1 over and over again. But that would take forever. I'd have to bump this one 19 times. So I'm gonna add them to each other to get to each other, basically, and hope for the best there. This is hard to notate a little bit. You know what I'm gonna do? Boom. I'll just have to keep track of the primes myself, because I need to write down what the current total is somehow, and I'm gonna be adding them up non-linearly because the values become available at different times. So in order to keep that straight, I'm gonna have to keep track of that. So right now these are all 1s. That one's a 1 too, but we're gonna bump that one up real quick, so that's not gonna be a problem anymore. So bump up 2, 2. All right, so there we go. Yeah, 2 and all 1s. So that's all according to plan. All right, so that's successfully a 2. Now we're going to add that one, which I believe means you're just going to be holding it, right? Yeah, now you're just holding it. So I need to put it down now. So now copy to this one, which now is actually 3. There we go. Out of the other ones, let's do... This is currently 3. Let's add... It's already a 3, so let's go add 2. Copy to 5. So 2, 3, 5. Good. Got it. So now we're going to copy from 5, add 2, copy to 7. I guess I'm going to do this more linearly than I thought. So it was not necessary to write them all as being 1s. Yeah. Alright, so we're good there. So now we have 7. Now you do 11. Best way to do that's probably 5 plus 6. So copy from 3, add 3, add 5, copy to 11. There we go. All right, 2, 3, 5, 7, 11. Next up is going to be 13. So we already have 11 in our hands right now, so we'll just add... Shit. Add 2. Copy to 13. That's 13. That's a dingly 3. Make it written... Ah. I didn't even mean... That time I just misclicked on the trash can. There we go. Just trying to make sure they're readable at scale. I keep clicking on the trash on accident. I'm never happy. Anyway, so now that's a 13. It's oddly satisfying to watch, isn't it? All right, so the next we have to add. Okay, we have to get to 17. So we can we get there from We can get there from 13. So we already have 13. So we'll just add 2 twice. So add 2, add 2, copy 2, copy 217. There we go. And then add 2, copy 2, 19. So if all goes according to plan, this is now our prime sequence. So begins my nightmare. Hooray. So 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19. That should all be good. Okay. Da-da-da-da-da-da. So begins our hell. Okay, so we have all of our primes at the very least. And we're, you know what? Let's do a copy from 0, copy to 0. It's 0, number 2, just so I can label it something. But you know, it's a string. I'm going to be progressing down the string when I'm dividing things, so I should probably end it with a 0. So I'm just going to make it so that a 0 gets placed there, so that that's not a problem, because that's usually how I stop a sequence. Otherwise it won't know how to stop once it goes to 19 and stuff like that. Thankfully, I keep starting over, and they've never given me a number higher than 20, so I think I can rely on that being the case, at the very least. Because otherwise, if you aren't operating from an existing list of the prime numbers, you would then have to operate from a list. You'd probably have to make your own prime numbers. You'd have to make the list self-generate, which would mean that you would have to... You'd have to check every number individually and divide all those numbers by the numbers below them to see if they were divisible by any of those numbers, and then you would confirm that they're prime if nothing was if they couldn't be divided by anything besides 1 and themselves. And that would be incredibly intensive to generate that list on its own. So generating that based on knowledge is probably best. If I was programming as a human being, I'd probably be more likely to, you know, have a string of the numbers and just paste them in. But because we can't input numbers in this game, because that's one of the limitations you have to play around, I have to manually add them up from 1 and, you know, take shortcuts by adding them to each other instead of just literally doing like 19 bumps to make 19 happen, for example. So that's what that was. Yay. Now we can actually start. It's called inbox, I guess. If I have to do any more prep work, I'm gonna put it above this spot. I'm just gonna give this thing not entirely helpful name of inbox, just to say this is where the primes part is now over, and the program can begin 30 lines in. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay, so now we need to figure out where we're gonna store things. So let's create a field called hold again. At the very least, I can go to the inbox and then store at hold. There we go. Now the thing from the inbox is being kept somewhere where it's not going to be deleted or changed while I try to figure out what it's made of, essentially. More or less. That might not be entirely true. I might change it. Yeah. Anyway, that's going to be where I'm holding the number. Yeah, I'm probably going to change it because if I successfully divide it by something, then I'd want to be outputting that. Okay, so the way I would do that is if I'm dividing it by 2, for example, I would subtract 2 from it and then add 2. So I would subtract 2 from it, and then I'd have an integer that's telling me how many times I've subtracted 2 from it so far, and I would keep adding 1 to that every time I successfully subtracted 2, which is the answer of how many times I've successfully divided by 2. And I have to do that while I'm dividing. Then when I run out of divisions, because I reach a negative number, then the remainder would be checked. And if the remainder is 0, then I would take that number of times I divided by 2 so far, and I would put that, yeah, that would become the new, yeah, that's how that works. If you have 10, and you divide by 2, you'd be dividing by 2 5 times, and so you'd have 2 and 5 multiplying to get 10. 2 is the factor you found in that situation, so the thing you're dividing by would be what I would output into a new string as as being my factors. And the number I got as a result, the number of times I divided, that would become my new number of what's sort of left over potentially. It's a bad example because I said 2 and 5, and 5 is also prime. So, but imagine 5 wasn't prime. That's what I'm talking about. I'd have to output that into another field, back into hold basically, and then I would divide that by another number to see what I get from that. Oh boy. That's this is gonna be a very slow program. Okay, but I can work with that. I think I can work with that. So that's inbox. I don't know if I have to do anything else with inbox, honestly. I think that's it for inboxing. I guess we're gonna start dividing, so let's see. I'm honestly double checking my, I don't know why I'm doing this, if it confuses me. But yeah, okay, I was double checking my terminology for division. Yeah, quotient is the result you get, where divisor is what you're dividing by. Right. Hold is the dividend at this point. Okay. So I'm just gonna call the divisor prime. Call it that. And this is going to be something that goes up in digit. Okay, so I need to prime my prime. So there's some part here where I had where I was holding 2, but fuck it. We're just gonna clumsily copy from 2, copy to prime. Let's put this in inbox area. So it's gonna copy from 2, copy to prime. Wait, no. No. No, no, no. Copy from 0. Because prime's gonna be 0. I was thinking about, like, I was thinking copy to 2 because it was gonna be like, oh yeah, the prime is 2. No, I need to call that cell. So it starts off as 0, then 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. That's gonna be the prime digit. It's gonna be the one we're referring to get to the next one each time. So that's gonna be our divisor. Our dividends hold, so we already have that here. I need quotient. Also known as our result, or whatever you want to call it. So this is going to be what we were outputting. This is going to start off as 0 and go up each time we successfully divide by the prime. Yeah. Okay. So that's going to also copy to quotient, because that has to be 0 at the beginning of each calculation. Where am I going to be putting this each time? Let's see here. So I'm going to be picking up the number from hold, and I'm going to go to the prime slot, and I'm going to subtract that over and over again. And I'm going to keep iterating up the quotient while that's happening. But if you iterate up, if you bump the quotient, that replaces what's in your hand. I have to account for that, which means I need to be storing what I'm holding at that point. I've got to be careful about that. I have to be careful about that because, let's make another hold. I have to be careful about that because if I go negative or 0 or whatever the hell, well, if I go negative, I am losing the number. So if I keep storing it, I gotta be careful there. I could be wrong here, but I'm just trying to be careful. This might be redundant steps, but I'm not. I'm more concerned about solving it at all. That bothers me. That's closer to readable. It's a nightmare. I can't do capital quotient because it'll fill up the entire tape like 5 letters in. I'm gonna create a hold down here instead because I need RAM basically, like a place to hold the stuff, but I don't want to just delete the original data or I'll be in trouble. Okay, so we copy the inbox to the inbox. Cool. Prime is currently 0, quotient is currently 0. That means if we divide, so we're gonna go over here and we're going to subtract 2, sorry, prime, but prime bracket, there we go. We're gonna subtract the thing that prime is currently pointing at, and then we are going to copy to hold, and then we are going to bump up quotient. So that should be, first of all, let's just actually add the, let's see. We're gonna do divide. I'm gonna change you to start, because inbox quickly became less useful, especially since inbox is down here, but inbox does have to be in the loop, so I can't have it separate. Oh boy. Okay. Alright, so yeah, copy inbox to inbox, subtract prime, copy what I'm currently holding to hold, because we have to make progress. Then we bump quotient up. We have successfully divided by 1 interval of the prime number. Cool. At that point, I believe we just are gonna loop. Copy from hold. There we go. You pick hold back up, you go back and you subtract prime again, and then put it down, bump the quotient, and you keep doing that until you either reach negative or you reach 0. Okay. If we reach 0, that's the more complicated one, so let's do that one, because that's when we have to actually input the answer we've found. I believe if we reach negative, we're throwing away what we have, basically, and going back to inbox. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll overwrite inbox whenever we successfully complete this process, basically. Which means my original names actually work a little better in my brain. We're gonna call you hold, and I'm just gonna call you fucking RAM. You're just a computer chip that's letting me do the math, but you're not an articulate part of this overall thing necessarily. That looks too much like hollow. There we go. Hold. I hate writing with the mouse so much. I know I've said it a lot, but Jesus Christ. So copy from RAM, copy to RAM. Sure. I'm sure someone will get mad with that terminology because I'm not really thinking it through that much. Alright, so we're going to do if 0. And we do that... like, we'll do it here. Because I do need the quotient to be accurate. So we have to wait till after the quotient gets bumped up. Then we're going to copy from RAM. And now I'm holding the RAM, which might be 0, which might mean I'm done. So... check mark. This is what happens in the good, happy situation where we have successfully identified a factor and then jump if negative. This one's gonna be an X. I can't do a slash because that means 0. In fact, let's remove that ambiguity. It's just an X. There we go. So this is what happens if we yeah, if it's 0, that means we got a perfect division. There's no remainder. So we're gonna be adding that to the string, and if we get negative, that means that we just throw this away, basically. And that'll be interesting. Let's see. If it's negative, I guess I could just do this one real quick because it's so easy. We're just gonna bump up prime. Because now prime will refer to the next cell, 3 instead of 2, or 0 instead of 1 if you can talk about the cell itself. And now we're just ready to do the next number. So then I would just jump back to where we start. Yeah, the inbox. No, not the inbox. Sorry. We're still factoring the same number. We're not getting another thing from the inbox. In fact, I should have kept that named as inbox because yeah, that's not. Yeah. I'm just gonna put it there. Copying the inbox to hold. That's the beginning of the program. That is separate from the division. I should not have included that. Subtract prime. Let's see. I guess I gotta include copy from hold because this is a loop, and that was not in the sequence. No, copy from hold here. Because here I copy the inbox to hold, but when I loop back around, I have to be prepared to get that number again if I have to start over. So that's where I want that to go to, I believe. Like, we did a division, it had a remainder, so it doesn't work as division. We bump up to the next prime slot, then we divide back to go back to the beginning, where we grab what's in hold again, and we try again. Good. That should work. Then we subtract prime, and we just do all this shit again. Okay. So I think I've closed off the X solution, the X situation. Now I need to do what happens if it is a successful division, which is, let's see, at this point we have the quotient is the new number, the prime is the prime. So I guess I need to create a string. Yeah. Oh man. How long can the string be? Sorry, I'm just worried about the idea of like, what if string gets too long? It can't be that long. These aren't big numbers, frankly. Let's see. Aren't you just divisible by like yourself and 17? And I don't think, yeah, no. We're not gonna get a string longer than like 3 numbers, really. I don't think we're gonna get 3 numbers. Whatever. So no, I don't think I have to worry too much about it being a long string. So I'm not super worried right now. Wait, why did I just check these? These are prime numbers. I'm a fucking idiot. 20. 20 is 5 times 4, so it's 2 times 2 times 5. That's 3. 16 is 4 by 4, which is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. That's 4 digits. That's getting a little high. I don't know if we'll get higher than that. I have 5 digits here, though, so I can work with 10 to 14. My worry here is that if it's a string of 6 digits, I need to... The next cell would be here, and then I'm fucked because I'm out of space, basically. Whereas I laid this all out so that it'd be visually... I laid this out to make it visually make sense to me, and not based on the fact that it's going to be a sequence. I should have put this stuff on the very bottom row, where there's clearly room for it, but now I'd have to move it all, which is a pain. So I'm gonna... Unless that becomes a problem, I'm gonna just keep going for now. Okay, so I need to create my string. We're gonna be busy here. So I need to create string. That's really bad. string. This is going to be where I count how long the string is. That's kind of important. Yeah. Which means that when I'm priming these numbers, I need to make that a 0 also. So, yeah, copy from 0, copy to that spot, and then copy to string. Everything has to be zeros. Oh wait, no, but that has to be part of the equation of the particular one, so no, copy to string here for the other time I went to 0. That 0 is permanent, this 0 is part of the current equation, because every time we get another thing from the inbox, we then have to loop back around. So when I'm done with everything, we're gonna loop back to here. This is a very long thing already, isn't it? 47. Yeah, alright. Okay, so now I have string. That'll get me started. So we're going to copy from prime. We're getting the new prime number, and we're going to copy that to the thing that string is directing us to. Right, string has to start out as 10. Oh no. How is that gonna work? How am I gonna count out the string? Normally, when I'm using a reference to a series of characters, I start at 0, but I'm already doing that once in here. So I need to have string start somewhere else. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. When I'm getting everything started, I guess I could start at string, and when I'm resetting it, I could keep resetting it back to, like, I could make string 10 at the beginning and then reset string back to being 10 each time at the beginning. That means I need access to a number 10 just lying around here. Or I could use 9 actually, to be honest. I probably should start the string at 9 so that I have more space in case I need it, especially since I'm realizing in order to indicate when the string ends, I might have to put a 0 at the end of it also. I originally was thinking like, oh, we'll subtract how many slots in we are from the string value, and if it's negative, then that means string is bigger, that means you keep going. But string is way up there in a crazy part of the field right now, in a weird spot. They'll probably just keep counting along the string until you get to the 0 slot at the end of the string when I'm outputting it. And then when I reach 0, I'm like, oh, that means you're done. We'll do that again. Because that's what we usually do. Haha. Alright, so that means I need to prep a 10. Just gonna do it at the end of all this shit, basically. Copy from 11. Copy to... 9. Yeah. Wait, no, I'm not doing that. We're not copying it to 9. That's the field we're gonna refer to, but I'm not doing it that way. I guess I should do a 7 then. It doesn't really matter. Copy from 7, copy to 23, which we're gonna call 10. And then we're going to bump 10 twice. That it actually becomes 10. Becomes 9, sorry. Is this confusing yet? So copy from the 7 field, put it in the 10 field. It'll currently be 7, bump it twice, and it becomes 9. So why did I call it 10? I called it 10 because a moment ago I was thinking of it being 10, but I'm actually going to use 9. You dummy. I'm doing everything. Oh, can't even keep numbers straight in my head for 5 seconds. Cool. Cool. Great. Alright, so now string can refer to that, I suppose. So we're going to bump. So copy from prime. Copy to string. Which is the destination of string. The destination of string is... Okay. So when we're priming everything in the first place, we set everything to be 0 and stuff like that. We need to copy from 9, copy to string, because string has to be set to 9 when we start. Then every time we grab it, yeah, that's before the inbox, because it's going to keep counting forward until we go back to start again. Cool. So now that's 9, so string's referring to there, but I can iterate that. So it's, yeah, copy from prime, copy to string. That's beginning the string now. Cool. So that's we've successfully copied over from prime to string. Now we're going to bump up string. And we're going to bump up prime. The order doesn't really matter. But yeah, prime needs to refer to the next cell, and string needs to refer to the next cell now. Which also happens down here if prime doesn't work out. So now prime and string are iterated. Now I need to deal with the result. So the quotient is the number of times we were able to divide by the prime number. So we're going to copy from quotient and copy to hold. We're overriding hold because we've successfully divided now. So that's our new remaining number that we need to try to divide from until it becomes 0 successfully. We need to divide it until we have all of the divisions done. So that's what we're doing right now. And I guess this entire equation will just continue going until we successfully copy from quotient and copy to hold. Yeah. And then if we're done, then copy from quotient will give me a 0. Because that means that we have our last prime number was just done. If our final prime number has been added to the string, then we need to add our solution. So jump if 0 when we're holding the quotient down to here. What should I call you? I'm just gonna call you done, I guess. At least try to make it look like a D. The little Disney swoosh is really helpful for trying to make it look like a D when you're trying to make it look straight in the first place. So this is the win condition. This is when we're done. I can't believe how long this video already is. Fuck. This is one example of how the puzzle game slot can be disruptive to my entire schedule and my recording schedule and so on. Is that there's like sometimes it's just like the amount of stuff I edit out of a video that's me being stuck for a long time, that where I just gotta edit that out because like it's just unwatchable. And other moments like this where it's like I'm not really stuck necessarily, it's just a very time-consuming puzzle and I've got to keep it all in one video because it sucks to split a puzzle into multiple videos. But then I've got these mega long videos. Like those are two different cases where like my 6 videos per day that are normally half an hour each, the workload changes variably if they actually take more than half an hour to record. Then it all gets crazy. All right, so done. Now we need to output the string. So right now we have bumped prime. We also bumped string. String starts out reverting to 9. Let's see. So at the moment I have already... Yeah, at the moment I've already bumped string. I'm supposed to output them smallest to largest, right? Smallest to largest, good. Okay. That's where we're starting from, so that's good. At this point in the process, I copied from prime. I copied to string, like its target, and I've bumped up string to increase the end point of string. So right now, the next thing that gets copied to will be the next slot that's empty. So I don't need to change anything there because we're already jumping from right after there. Alright, so I don't have to interact with string. I just have to copy from 0, copy to string target, which will put a 0 at the end of the string target, which means I can now output the string. Except I just jumped if 0, so I don't need to copy from 0 because I'm holding a 0 right now. So I'll just put that in string. Shit, no I can't. Sorry. Copy from 9. That's where the string starts, not 0. Good thing I caught that. Yeah, copy from 9. Put that in string. Now we're back to here. Wait, what? No. I'm an idiot. Everything's wrong. No? Wait. Copy to string. I got mixed up. I got double mixed up. We got double, triple, decker, multiple scoops of ice cream mixed up. Okay, so we're good now. Yes, it is 0, and copying 0 to string is good because I'm copying it to the target of string. Here's the problem where, like, now I've got to mix up the difference between a field and a reference of the same thing and how that fucks with my articulation. So we have the 0, we're putting that in the target of string, which is where it's pointing to, because we want that string to end in 0. But then we're taking 9 and copying it into the field of string because we have to reset string back to 9 so we can start our output. Now what we will do is we're going to copy from string's reference, and then we're going to outbox that. And then we're going to bump up the actual string, and then we're going to loop that. So this is the output sequence. It's going to grab the thing from where string's pointing to and outbox it, and then go the next slot over and over again. And so now we need to create the end point of that, which is that we need to do an if 0 when it copies from its goal. So if 0 there, because that means this is end string. This is unreadable. Whatever. End string. There's a really big space in the middle. I was trying to make... Because before, when I wrote multiple words, I couldn't read them individually, so I tried to add more space between them, and that only made things worse. Because now it's all squished at the end. So this is end string. It's going to jump over here, because we've reached the 0 at the end of the string. And then... That's it. It's just going to not... It's just going to not output that one. So now it's going to run all the way back and start the whole program over. Because we've successfully finished outputting the string. You don't output the 0. That's all of the prime numbers. So it's going to just go back to setting the board again, where it's going to make these 0. It's going to make this and this 0. Copy to string, copy to string. What? Here, that one. That one's wrong. It's going to copy, yeah, it's going to grab 0, make these two 0. It's going to grab 9, make that one 9. Hold and RAM don't matter because the first interaction you have with them is to overwrite whatever they have during each sequence, so it doesn't matter what they start out as. Whereas these ones are all being kicked up by the bump function, so they have to be starting as 0 or the game will lose its mind. Okay. I've kind of lost it now, so I don't know. Did I beat the level? Or have I just lost track of what the loose ends are left still? Oh. Right. I have to, yeah. I have to account for what happens when you reach the final prime. Because this, yeah. I did that here, didn't I? Copy from string, jump if 0 to end string. No, but I have to do, yeah, jump if 0, pick up quotient. Oh boy, this is spaghetti now. What made me think it's time for string in the first place? Was it even right? Oh no, I think I got really mixed up somewhere. I think I got really mixed up somewhere. Okay, so... fuck, this is a lot to parse. Boy, am I happy I don't have to do this all the time like I thought I would do when I was gonna do this as a job, I thought. So copy from prime... This is when it's correct. It copies from the prime to string, bumps both of them up, copies from quotient. Quotient is 0, so it's like, oh shit! We've successfully... Yeah, quotient has become 0. Right. No, that makes sense. Yeah, that means that means my quotient's reached 0. That means that we have nothing else to divide. So proceeding down this string is pointless. I put this 0 to catch me if I run out of prime numbers, but it should be impossible for me to run out of prime numbers because given what the inputs are, these are all the numbers that things are divisible by. So this 0 doesn't do anything at the moment. Honestly, things have gotten so complicated, I kind of just need to see this thing run and see what happens. First of all, this is just going to take an eternity, so let's get past all that. I need to know whether or not I've already done it or not. So we're grabbing the first number, 14. Let's divide by 2. Oh yeah, put that down there, don't lose it. Yeah, it's been divided by 2 once. Oh yeah, this is going to take 7 fucking intervals. 3, 4, 5. Okay, there we go. Now it's a 0. Okay, so, okay, let's go back a little bit to make sure it happened right. Go back a little bit. Okay, cool. The number was 14. We divided by 2. The quotient's 7. So we put down a 2. And now we have a 7. Cool. So we're going to make that go up by 1, and that go up by 1. And then we're going to pick up that 7 and put it on hold. And now the loop's going to continue again. Uh-oh. 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 Alright. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Let's go back. I lost track of where we were a little bit. Okay. That's a naughty moment we had there. We bumped prime. Why do we bump prime? Oh. Yeah, okay, I get it. In the situation where I successfully divide a number and we add it to the string, I have a condition for jump if 0, which is when we're done. I didn't actually write what to do when I finish, which is just to go back and loop again. I didn't actually make a loop, so that means it spilled over down here into the fail thing because nothing caught it. So then it bumped it again because that's what it does when there's a remainder. And then it jumped finally when it reached this jump. So that's an easy fix. That's an easy fix. I just have to add the jump here and then put it exactly where this one is. Let's be careful. It's at the very beginning of div. Cool. Saving brain space by just checking where the other one went already. All right, cool. That's an easy fix. That's an easy peasy fix. Let's see. Still dividing a few more times. Oh no, that's a 0. What do I do with that? 9. Okay, yeah, 18 divided by 2 is 9. Alright, let's put down the 2, beginning our string. Cool. Cool. And the process begins again. Now we're going to divide by 3. And what do you know? It's 9. So we're going to divide it by 3 in order to get... Oh. We're gonna have a new problem here. We're gonna have a new problem here. We're gonna have a new problem here. Yep. Yep. That's a new problem right there. Wait, how the fuck did that happen? Wait, what just happened? Oh no, we have another new problem. We have more problems than I thought we had. Okay. Alright, so I was thinking 9 is 3 times 3. Does that mean we have to... I think that means we have to divide by 3 twice? Because we're gonna divide... Am I crazy? That would make the output 3 and 3, right? What are factors of 6, 2 and 3? 8, 2 and 2 and 2? Yeah, the numbers repeat. Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, for 9, I have to be prepared for the possibility of there being repeats. Okay, haha. But also have to figure out what the fuck happened back there too, because quotient's not being reset. And that's a problem. So it loops back to the beginning. Copy from 0. Okay, that all happens. But the beginning of div, I had to make quotient 0. Yeah. So copy from 0, copy to quotient. The quotient has to become 0 after we've moved it to hold, otherwise it just keeps going up forever. So that's what happened there. That's the problem that came up from testing right there, but while it was happening, I anticipated the fact that 9 came up, and that's 3 by 3. So I have a problem there. The problem here is that when I do a positive thing, I bump up prime to go to the next slot, but I actually shouldn't do that. I should let prime stay still, because what we need to do is we need to check the same prime number again. So after I check 3, I need to check 3 again, and then only after 3 fails and gets here, then we bump up prime. That's the only time we're going to change prime. If I change prime when we succeed, then we'll skip past the possibility that 3 shows up twice. I think removing that one field is all I had to do. We'll see. We'll see. This is fun. It's just also exhausting. And also, it takes so much longer than I always expect it to be, and then it just keeps getting later and later, and I'm like, I thought I'd finish this game today, and I'm not going to. I'm just gonna let it run to see if a problem comes up. I think I might have succeeded, but I'm not sure. Jesus, the first quotient of that one was 11? What was the starting number? I missed it. Something might be wrong. Something's wrong, isn't it? What is happening right now? I'm sorry. Okay, we got a problem. Shit, and I didn't catch it correctly. Shit. I gotta run it again now until it happens again. This is where we need a faster fast forward mode. So I can just skip straight to the part where it breaks. Because that was like an infinite loop where the quotient was going up forever and something was going wrong, and I had to figure out what that was. Okay, it's happening again, I think. Okay, so right now it's copying from RAM. It's doing this loop over and over again, so it's subtracting prime. Copy to RAM. What's the problem here? Oh, the problem here... How did I get there, though? Shit. How did it get there? What just happened? So I believe what's happening is... Oh, Jesus. I believe what's happening is it's going to 0, right? Yeah. So it's currently subtracting by 0, which means it'll loop forever. But how did it get to 0? I've made a horrible mistake. Alright, no, then we have to start over again. I'll speed through the intro part, and then I'll stop speeding the moment we get through that part, because it seems to be something that might be happening, like, immediately. We're grabbing 4. Okay. So 4 is just 2 times 2. So far, so good. So yeah, 2. Now we're putting down 2. We're going to divide by 2 this time. Yeah, quotient's now 0. Good. 2 times 1. Ta-da! What's happening? Okay, yeah, so 2 times 2, correct. It's set quotient to 1, 0. Wait, you just keep going now. What are you doing? No. Now you've got a -1. How'd you get a -1? Okay, so something's going on wrong here. Okay, so let's go back. My if 0 didn't happen correctly. So let's double check when that was supposed to happen. Yeah, so here's when we put down the 2. Cool. Now copy from quotient. Huh. Right, the quotient's the number of times we divided. That, in a successful situation, that won't be 0. That'll be, yeah. When we succeed, that won't be 0. That'll be 1 or greater. So we can do copy from quotient, copy to hold as planned. But what we need to do is we need to copy from RAM. So copy from RAM, that's what's supposed to be 0. Did I even copy from RAM at that point? We hopped over from here. Yeah, copy from RAM if 0 comes over here. Wait, I think I've mixed something up. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, welcome to the Let's Play where you just watch somebody program live. It's funny, I'm still so at the moment I'm recording this when none of these episodes have gone up, just the Let's Try that went up like a week ago or whatever. It's currently still a surprise that any of this is going to go up. I'm a little nervous because I just have no fucking clue how anyone's going to react to this. But here we are in the weeds of it. Advantage of having so many other videos on the channels that they could just watch something else, I guess. And also the puzzle game audience is a finicky crowd where I've had people come at me and be like, I've been losing interest and I don't want to support you on Patreon anymore because you haven't played any puzzle games for months. And I'm like, I have a dedicated puzzle game slot that's every day. What do you mean I haven't played any for months? And it's like people's ideas of what counts as a puzzle game seems to just not match up with mine sometimes. I don't understand what they mean sometimes. All right, so I get why it happens. When I move something, I get why the test goes away, but I definitely want to like go back and like press left and right a little bit to see how the game will interact with what I was doing, and I have to start the whole thing over when it comes to my compiling. Jesus, so if I'm correct, I just need to review all of the text basically and see what went wrong. So we've done an if 0 based on the RAM. Yeah, copy to RAM, bump the quotient, copy from RAM. That's the remainder. We've confirmed that the remainder is 0, which is why we're here. So we're now copying from prime, but it's target, and we're putting that in the string, and then bumping the string total, because that's just us writing the string out. Cool. But then I need to verify here which part of this is going to be 0. So copy from quotient, copy to hold. Right, it's not going to be 0 because that's how division works. Copy from RAM is irrelevant. Okay. think I need to have a 1, basically. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. Copy from 0. Copy to... yeah, copy to 2. Bump to... let's say copy to 1. That should make that a 1. I need to store a 1. I think my plan here... oh shit, where was I? Here. Okay. So we're gonna pick up quotient, and we don't need to check to see if it's 0. We need to check to see if it's 1. So we're gonna take the quotient, and we're going to... we don't want to subtract from it, because if we... like, we don't want to bump it down, because if we bump it down, then that affects what's in the cell, and that's bad for if it's not 1. So we're gonna take the quotient, and we are going to subtract 1. So only the one in our hand is being subtracted right now, and that's where we get if 0. And that's when done happens. We're done when what I'm holding becomes 0 if I subtract 1 from it, because that means what I'm holding was 1, which means that we're done factoring. Yeah. Otherwise, what we're gonna do is we're gonna copy... I need to do another copy from quotient. There we go. Copy from quotient, copy to hold. We're gonna put that back in. We need a copy from the quotient to the hold, which is what we were doing originally, because that's our new number we're gonna divide down if it's not 1 yet. Isn't there supposed to be a jump back to the beginning thing? Where is that? Right there at the beginning of div. Why is that the beginning of X? Get out of there. What are you doing? You're supposed to be here. Which also, that's where you're supposed to be too, right? No? Copy from 0, copy to quotient. You're both supposed to be there. I don't know how stuff got kind of shuffled around. That's terrifying. That's terrifying to have happen in this whole equation. Boy, will that make me scared of all sorts of things. The idea that stuff's just moving around. I thought I put those there already. What the fuck? I swear I put those already there. How did that get mixed up? I'm scared now. I'm terrified. Okay, so now it's gonna check to see if what we have is 1 by subtracting 1 from it to see if it turns into a 0. The alternative would be to check. It doesn't matter. Yeah, that checks to see if it's 0, which means we're done. If it's not if it doesn't turn into 0, we pick up quotient again and put it into hold, so we can start the whole sequence over again. I don't know if I did it right yet. Let's just see. Go, 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 go. Things seem to be resetting. We output a number, and the game didn't say I was wrong. I probably beat the level, which is great news, because I'm a little tired. I'm gonna do the next one in the morning. I don't think I can follow up the final mission after this. On one hand, I'm fresh in that I'm in the weeds right now, so I'm in the brain space to do the final level, but I'm gonna be fatigued as shit if I keep going. I think it might be even harder for all I know. I don't know. This is the final challenge level, which means the final level might be easier. All I know is that this one ruined me a little bit. Holy crap. Please tell me I won. Just please tell me I won. I need it. I need it, game. I need you to tell me I won. Please. Just tell me I won. Please tell me I won. I just want... Ah! Tell me how bad I am. Tell me how I've been dirty, Mr. Game. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. I'm closer to speed. It's only like 50 off, which sounds like a lot, but that's a lot of steps in general. But size challenge, yeah. Yeah, not quite. I didn't really achieve either goal. But you know what, guys? I did it, and I'm proud of myself, because I don't actually know what I'm doing. Whew. Yeah. if you're already a programmer, like I've said, you kind of already know the answer to some of these questions because you already have done it before, kind of. But if you're not a programmer, but you have just enough experience that you know how the logic works of a programming game, but you don't know the tricks yet, that's when it's a puzzle game, I guess. I know enough about the syntax and programming to be able to play the game, but I don't know any of the tricks, so I have to genuinely manufacture a solution to the problem each time. And I guess that means I'm kind of in the sweet spot to play this game, I assume. Not to max it out, but to beat it. Although, one thing about this game is that you can copy-paste formulas into it, which means if somebody just wanted achievements or whatever, they could just copy-paste the winning answers to everything into the game, basically. There's probably an achievement guide somewhere that just lets you copy-paste, that just tells you every formula, and you just copy it into the game, and then you get the achievement, and then you max at every level for the 2 categories. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, somebody's definitely done that somewhere, huh? Someone has definitely somebody has definitely gone like, fuck it, I'm done with this game, but I care about achievements, so I'm just gonna copy-paste all these answers into the game and then get every achievement and leave. Definitely. In fact, I've done that kind of shit in like 2008-ish, there's definitely been a few games where like I just got the achievements and said fuck it, because there's a few games out there that, first of all, I cared about achievements back then, which is a mistake in itself, but also there's definitely games that are weirdly exploitable like that. Anyway, see you guys in the finale, I assume. I wonder if it'll be longer or shorter than this video. Ah.